everybody, and welcome back to the channel. We are the Mighty Guru Yogurt. In this film I'll be riding from the bottom end of Fell through Eskdale, heading for the beginning of the Hardknott Pass, which is kind of exciting, always. This will be the first time that I've done the Hardknott Pass this year. And I've been avoiding it for several months now because of the icy, wintry conditions. I'm hoping today, given that it's been about 7 degrees through the daytime, that it's going to be ice free. I'll make a judgment on that when I get there. But for now, I'm riding through the beautiful valley of Eskdale, which is a truly wonderful place, situated in a far corner of the Western Lake District, surrounded by some beautiful mountains, and it's not a bad little road. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. If you haven't been here yet, you ought to put it near the top of your list of places to go. There is a single track railway line that runs down this valley. It is much frequented by tourists in the summer months. And a sit on a steam train going through the mountains is a wonderful way to spend an afternoon when you've got nothing better to do. It's maybe a 10-minute ride from here down to the start of the Hardknott Pass, and I think when I get to the beginning of the Hardknott Pass, it's going to be time to change my battery. Speaking of batteries, I had a little bit of a problem this last week, and that's one of the reasons that there's not been any films going up. So I mentioned, I think in the previous video, or maybe the one before it, that I spent Monday of this week climbing snow and ice on Helvellyn. And here's the funny thing. We got to the start of the route that we were going to do on Helvellyn, and it was in absolutely perfect winter condition. About halfway up the gully, I decided it was time to get the camera out, and duly got the camera out. Still a lot of snow on the Fell range over there, look. I digress. I got the camera out and turned it on, and within a couple of seconds I got a little red dialogue box flashing up saying camera is overheating and will close down, and it did. I tried it 3 or 4 times, it made no sense. Now, I happen to know that at that point the temperature was -2. -2! How is the goddamn camera overheating? Well, I tried and tried and tried again, but to no avail. The camera was not having it. So I put the camera away and thought, okay then, no footage today, which was a big disappointment because the route that we did was in fact truly spectacular. Very, very deep snow that had frozen and thawed and frozen and thawed over a period of a couple of weeks, and it was absolutely rock solid neve. You just put your ice axe into it and it stayed there. So yeah, I was a bit upset about that and just got on with the climb the way you do. So I got back home and started thinking about the problem and what could have caused it. Did a bit of research on the internet, looked at some of the DJI forums, but none of them seemed to address the problem that I'd been having. How is a camera going to be overheating at -2? Anyway, I slept on it, the way I often do when things are troubling me. And I woke up the next morning and I had a couple of ideas. Now, here's the funny thing. The previous week, when I'd gone to attempt the climb that we did in fact succeed on Monday, something happened. Now, I have this little thing where I like, when I summit on a mountain, to open a can of beer. And I had a can of beer in my rucksack, along with spare clothing, head torch, emergency rations, and of course my crampons. Now, you will know that these action cams that we use are generally completely waterproof. Indeed, I read recently about a GoPro that had been found on the bed of Lake Coniston, of Coniston Water, and it was found by some divers who were playing around in there. They brought it up, they took it home, they took out the SD card, and the last recorded footage on it was around 10 years old. That's how waterproof the cameras that we use are. So I thought, well, the camera was in the bag when my pair of crampons decided it was going to pierce the can of beer that I brought with me. So the rucksack was completely wet inside, but I knew that the problem could not be with the camera itself and must in fact be something to do with the batteries. Now, the batteries were sitting in the charging unit, and that of course isn't waterproof. And so logically that seems to be the cause of the problem. That's very thoughtful. Thank you. Lots and lots of farmers don't do that. So I always appreciate the ones that do. Where was I? Oh yes. So I knew the problem had to be with the batteries. I also knew that one battery, at least, was in the camera when this incident happened. And so I went through all 3 batteries, putting them in the camera, seeing what happened. And indeed, with 2 of the batteries, logically the ones that were residing in the charging unit, were the ones that were making the camera shut down. So that was that problem solved. By the time I get home from riding today, I will have 2 brand new DJI batteries. And that will be that sorted out. The takeaway from this: put the charging unit with the spare batteries in a polythene bag. Good to learn that one. Oh, gravel everywhere, look. No thought for the motorcyclist. We're just a few minutes now from the bottom of Hardknott Pass. There's going to be a lay-by on the right, just at the start of the pass, and that's where I'll be pulling over and sorting my camera gear out. That was a Slobo Lobo helmet burp. Lay-by is upon us. Thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this little film. If you did, watch some more. If you didn't, don't. And you might like to consider subscribing to the channel. There is, as I always say, a lot more content to come. Bye for now.